Welcome, everybody. So, I'm going to do a class that will look at some stretches that are good for sciatica. That's kind of impingement or pressing on the sciatic nerve that's often caused by tightness around the lower back buttock area, the glute. So, we'll look at some glute stretches. And I've got a little bit of a headache, so I find that sometimes doing really gentle inversions, it seems counterintuitive, putting your head down, but sometimes that can ease a headache. So I'm going to weave that in for me as well. So with that in mind, let's start in child's pose, because child's pose is a mild inversion and also is a glute stretch. So perfect. If you've got a bolster and you wish to use a bolster to make this more soft or less intense stretch on the knees and the hips, then you could rely on a bolster, otherwise just on the floor. And I'm choosing wide knee child's pose because I want to use a bolster. If you don't want to use a bolster, you could choose wide knees with your big toes touching knees wide like I'm doing, or you could have your knees together and your hands back by your feet, balasana. So we'll just settle in to this posture. If child's pose doesn't feel like a good posture for you, if you've got issues with your knees, just lie on your back, maybe hug the knees to the chest, or just lie in Shavasana. And just choosing a posture that we can feel relaxed in, basically to just arrive into our bodies, arrive into the class. And just checking in with ourselves at the start of the class, our starting point, our energy level, any aches and pains. Or just feedback from the body that we want to be aware of. And maybe sometimes it's nice to work with an intention for the class. What do you feel that you wish your class to bring you this evening? What do you need from this class? Is it balance? Is it relaxation, stretching, just having a little moment? I've got a feeling somebody's not muted. Perhaps somebody's just joined.
It's me.
Susie. Welcome. Oh, and
Hi.
Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Yeah, no problem. Just mute when you can. Great. Good to see you. We've literally just started. We're starting in child's pose, but if child's pose isn't good for you, you can just lie on your back. Wonderful. Good to have you here. Okay. So whatever posture you've chosen, we'll just stay here for another minute or so, just to let those who've just arrived also have a chance to find their way into a restful posture, child's pose or shavasana, lying on your back, just arriving, moving towards stillness, connecting with your body feedback, your breath. And maybe just having that sense of everything just starting to slow down, maybe the breath slowing down, maybe just your energy might be a bit fractured, heightened, just feeling a sense of settling, slowing down. Maybe your mind has been racing all day. As we anchor the mind on the breath, on the physical sensations in the body, it does start to slow the mind down. We get more into that body language, not the mind. If you've got your head turned to one side, just turn your head the other side to stretch the other side of the neck. Then if your head's turned to one side, just turning to look down, and we're going to just slowly walk our way back out of the child's pose. Or if you're lying on your back, just roll to one side. We're going to meet in a seated position. You're welcome to sit on a folded blanket or block if that makes it easier for you. And we'll just come to cross-legged, and we've got a focus this evening of kind of outer buttocks, glutes area stretching to avoid or perhaps relieve sciatic pain. So this is another stretch for that. So we're going to just slowly start to take the hands forward and drop the head between the upper arms, and try to keep your buttocks on the floor. Try to keep the base of your pelvis glued to the floor. So we're not going so far forward that we lift up the tailbone or sit bones. We're staying connected to the floor through the base of the pelvis. And we're just dropping the head. So again, that gentle inversion. The other thread we're weaving through is very gentle inversions that may help relieve a headache, a slight headache. So breathing into your back body, being aware of the movement of your ribs in your back as you breathe. Maybe you start to feel a stretch down the back of the body and also down into the buttocks. So when we stretch the back like this, we're also stretching into the buttock area. And then slowly bring the hands back, coming up. And we'll just take a front body opener. So take your hands behind you and interlace the fingers. Lift your hands up and away from the back. So your knuckles are pointing backwards, away from you. Maybe lift the head slightly. You can arch the spine a little bit and draw your breath into your upper chest here, all the way up to your collarbones. And then lowering the hands. And we're going to repeat what we just did, but put the other leg in front. So swap your shins over, other shin in front, and once again start to walk the hands forward. And just be extra mindful on this side because it's probably a tighter side. There might be more sensation around your hips, your lower back, or maybe even into your knees. So especially that front knee, just check you're not creating any sharp shooting pains in the knee. If you are, come back. When you get to the place that feels good for you, again, drop your head to get that slight inversion or sense of inversion. And take some nice deep breaths, focusing on the back of your body, keeping your buttocks, your sit bones connected to the floor. And slowly walking the hands in. Now we're going to come onto our hands and knees. So just find your way onto tabletop position with your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And let's cat-cow the spine with your breath. So inhale to lift the tailbone, drop the belly, draw the shoulders back and look up to your eyebrows, and exhale, draw the tailbone under, stretch the spine to the ceiling and bring the chin towards the chest. And just keep that going with your breath, and also add your eye movement. So at the top of the inhale, really look up to your eyebrows, and at the end of your exhale, look down the tip of your nose. So you also use the eye muscles here. And then at the end of your exhale, just come to a neutral spine. And because of this kind of theme of our buttocks, let's take some hip circles and just make them as big as feels comfortable for you. So again, check in with your knees as we take the hips all the way down to the heels and out to the side and forward. So the shoulders might come slightly in front of the wrists and out to the other side. Just make these as big or as small as feels right for you. But we're looking to feel a stretch around the buttock area and then change direction, take the circles away. And then next time you come up to tabletop, just pause. And we're going to inhale here, bring the knees together. And as you exhale, slide the hips down onto the heels for child's pose, bringing the head down. And then inhale, come back up. So we're just doing a kind of moving version of child's pose. Exhale back. Inhale up. Maybe 5 times. Exhaling back, maybe the head comes down. Inhale up. 2 more. And exhaling back last time. Inhaling, coming forward. And just pausing. So we're going to do this little leg sequence, and it might seem counterintuitive to be really working the muscles that might be tight, but actually this can really help us release those muscles. So it's a bit of a challenging one, this, but it builds great strength around the hip joint. So we're going to inhale the left knee out to the left till the knee is in line with the hip, and exhale, extend the leg without letting the knee drop. And then inhale, bring the heel to the buttock without letting the knee drop. And exhale, bring the knee down towards the floor, but not touching. And then inhale, lift the foot and look up. And exhale, bring the head to the knee underneath you. We're going to try and do that 5 times. Inhale out to the side. Exhale, extend. Inhale, heel to buttock. Don't let the knee drop. Exhale, lower the knee. Inhale, lift the foot, look up. Exhale, head to knee underneath. Inhale, left knee out to the side like a dog cocking its leg, and exhale, extend the leg without dropping the knee. Inhale, heel to buttock, knee stays where it is. Exhale, lower the knee. Inhale, lift the foot, look up. Exhale, head to knee underneath you. I think we've got 2 more. Inhale out to the side. Exhale, extend, really push through the heel. Inhale, heel to buttock. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, look up, back bend. Exhale, head to knee. 1 more if you can. Inhale out to the side. Exhale, don't move the knee, just extend, push into the heel. Inhale, heel to the buttock. Exhale, lower the knee. Inhale, lifting the foot, looking up. Exhale, head to knee underneath you. And hopefully feeling a nice heat, warmth in that left hip. Go to the other side. So when you're ready, if you need extra padding under the knee on the floor, just take a blanket or something. Inhale, right knee out to the side. Keep it where it is as you exhale, extend to right heel. Inhale, heel to buttock. Exhale, lower the knee. Inhale, look up, stretching the leg out behind you, and exhale, head to knee underneath you. And again, inhale, knee out to the right in line with the hip. Exhale, extend into that heel. Inhale, heel to buttock. Exhale, lower. Inhale, extend, look up. Exhale, nose to knee underneath. 3 more. Inhale, knee out to the side. Exhale, extend into the heel. Don't move the knee. Inhale, heel to buttock. Exhale, lower the knee. Inhale, lift, look up, back bend. Exhale, nose to knee. 2 more. Inhale, lift the right knee. Exhale, extend into the heel. Inhale, heel to buttock. Exhale, lower. Inhale, stretch and lift. Exhale, nose to knee. And 1 more if you can. Inhale, knee out to the side. Exhale, extend. Inhale, heel to buttock. Exhale, lower the knee. Inhale, stretch the foot up and out behind you. And exhale, to knee. And then relax and just take another child's pose. This time, knees together, hips onto the heels. Take your hands back to the feet and just let the shoulders drop. And feel that stretch going down the lower back into the buttocks. And then when you're ready, lifting the head, taking the hands forward. And we're just going to do a version of Anahatasana that brings a side stretch in. So keep your hips above your knees, walk the hands out, and we'll just come down to normal Anahatasana first. So we drop the forehead or even maybe the chin towards the floor. And already we're kind of stretching into buttocks area a little bit, as well as a big opening in the front body. Taking a couple more breaths here. And then just pressing through the hands to lift the head. We're going to walk the hands over to the right as far as is comfortable and bring the left hand to close to the right hand or even on top of the right hand. And then drop the head, and maybe the forehead finds the floor between the upper arms. Maybe it rests on one of the arms. My little tip for this one is to take the hips ever so slightly back, like a centimetre maybe. So they are very tiny bit behind the knees. And then the weight of the pelvis just adds that extra traction for this, or extra stretch for the side stretch here. And then pressing through the hands, quite a strong shoulder stretch. Walk the hands back through the center and now take them over to the left. If it's too strong for you, this stretch, just work more actively. So instead of dropping the chest, we keep the elbows off the floor. So right hand's on top of left hand or next to it. If we're feeling okay here, we drop the head to the floor or rest it on the upper arms. Again, the hips ever so slightly behind the knees can just help get a little bit more stretch down that right side here. Also stretching buttocks. Again, if it's too intense a stretch for you around the shoulders, just being more active with the elbows off the floor. Breathing into your upper back. One more breath. And at the end of your exhale, looking up, just walking the hands back to the center and just bringing them back so they're just in front of the shoulders, and tuck your toes and lift the hips and come into downward dog, which is another lovely inversion that can sometimes assist with headaches, especially I find sometimes if I use a brick, if I support my head on a brick. It's a bit of a weird one, but it's like a restorative version of downward dog that can just sometimes feel quite supportive. So you're welcome to try that. If you've not got a headache or you don't want to, just take normal downward dog and know that this is a really lovely stretch for the whole of the back body, including the glutes, the buttocks. So anchor down through your hands, through your feet. Breathe into your back body. You can have the knees as bent as you need here. And then at the end of the exhale, we're going to look forward and walk the feet to the hands. So move your block if you use the block. And we're going to bring our feet together. We're going to take a slightly different forward fold today. So you might need a block or something to bring the floor closer to you, in front of you, because it can be a bit funny for the balance, a bit difficult for the balance. So we're going to cross our right foot to the outside of our left foot. So you're going to have your right foot's going to be slightly in front of your left foot, and the little toe edges are going to be touching. And then we fold here. And this is why you might just need something in front of the feet to put your hands on, so that you've got that extra stability. So it's quite, you've not got a stable base here. Drop the head. And this is a hamstring stretch, forward fold like usual, but with this variation, we're also stretching more into this again, outer thighs, outer buttocks area that can be associated with sciatic pain. Nice deep breaths. And then inhale, just look up and swap sides. So bring the feet to normal again, feet together, and then swap left hand left foot over right foot. So your little toe edges are touching again, and now this time your left foot slightly in front of your right. Drop the head, use that support under your hands if you need. Press evenly through the feet here. Try to have the whole of both soles of the feet pressing down. This is also really good for the brain when we cross limbs, kind of get some interesting cross wiring going between the hemispheres. The brain can be a little bit confusing. And then at the end of your exhale, again, just looking up, having support through the hands as you bring the feet together. And we're just going to stay folded over and just step the left foot back down the mat. And we're going to do a little leg sequence that actually builds some heat in the glutes. So we're going to lower the left knee down first of all. And we're just going to do this lunge a little bit differently than usual. So bring yourself upright here. And I'm going to do a posterior tilt of the pelvis. So what I mean by that, when we do an anterior tilt, we kind of we tilt the pelvis backwards and overarch the lower back. We're doing the opposite. We're kind of tucking the tailbone under, almost flattening a little bit the lower back, that kind of thrusting forward, pelvis thrusting forward feeling. And then from here, we just glide forwards. So we're not coming into our usual Anjali-asana. It's slightly different. We keep the tailbone tucked under. That's our main focus. And we just send the hips forward here. And you should feel quite a targeted stretch on the front of that left hip and down into the inner left thigh, maybe, if you keep the posterior tilt. And keep your hands where they are, or inhale, raise the hands and cross your left arm over your right forearm and press the palms together, trying to bring the upper arms in line with the ears here. So your head's kind of through your upper arms, in front of your upper arms, and you're pressing your palms together. So there's a bit of a spiraling going on up the arms, and you should feel quite an interesting stretch in the shoulders, upper back area. We're still posterior tilting the pelvis, and then lowering the hands down. Come onto the top of the back foot, take the right heel forwards a little bit, and fold over your right shin here, using supports underneath your hands if you need. For half splits, trying to keep the alignment, right hip behind right ankle, right toes pointing up to the ceiling. Another glute, hamstring glute stretch. And then bringing the sole of that foot down, just plant the hands either side of the right foot and lift the back knees. Come onto the ball of the left foot, and your right knee is above the right ankle. So we're coming into low lunge, and we're going to take a twist. So left hand under left shoulder, use a block if you need, and right hand on right hip, or stretch it up to the ceiling, reaching up through the right fingertips. We're strong in that back leg, left heel drawing back, crown of the head drawing forwards, and we're pressing through the heel of the right foot to switch on the right thigh and buttock area. And then exhale, lower that right hand down. And we're just going to do the whole sequence on this side to really build fire. So inhale your way up to the high lunge, and I know you're going to be feeling this now in that right leg. And just take a breath here, pressing through the right heel. If this is enough, stay here. But my final challenge here is to take the weight forwards a little bit, and it's really going to switch on that right quad and buttock area. So you're drawing a line from left heel to left fingertips. One more breath. I know it's intense. And then bring the hands down, spin the back foot so the toes are in front of the heel. And at this point, you can bring your right elbow onto your thigh if you wish. We're going to take the side angle pose. We're going to press through the little toe edge of that back foot and look towards your left fingertips. So you might be up here now, right elbow on thigh, but we still draw that line down the side of the body, looking to the left hand. And then taking the hands down to the floor again, and it's your choice. You might just want to sit, go straight back to child's pose here, or downward dog, both for stretching the buttocks, or you can move through a little vinyasa, exhaling down from the plank, inhaling, stretching the front body into a back bend, exhaling back. Okay, so your choice with those little flows. And we meet back in downward dog or child's pose, just breathing into your lower back, breathing into your buttocks. So quite a intense sequence for the legs, but just feel that delicious heat in your right buttock now. Often nerve pain comes from being sedentary, comes from getting weak and tight and weak in muscles. So we're countering that with this practice. So when you're ready, we're going to bring the left foot forward between the hands and lower the right knee to the floor. And again, slightly different. Press through the left foot to come up. Bring the hands to the hips as best you can. You know, it depends on the range of movement we have in our pelvis. We take the forward tilt or the forward kind of thrusting action, this posterior tilt. And then we keep that on. That's the focus. And we just kind of glide the hips forward, maybe bending into that left knee a little bit more. And then we can stay here with the hands, or we can inhale, raise the hands and bring the right arm on top of the left. And if possible, find palm to palm, spiraling the forearms, and press your palms together above the head, with the head ideally in front of the forearms, if that's possible. Keep tilting that pelvis under, drawing the tailbone under. Breathe into the front of the right hip, and you might feel it more down into the inner right thigh with this different variation. And then exhale, release the hands down. And probably from this position, you might need to take the left heel forward slightly and walk the hands back until you find that hamstring and glute stretch on the left side, lifting the left toes up, folding over the left shin. Checking that you've not swung the hips out to the right. Keep left hip behind left ankle, right hip above right knee, or in line with right knee. And then we're going to bring the sole of the left foot down and take the hands forwards either side of the left foot and lift the back knee off the floor for the low lunge position here, drawing right heel back, crown of the head forward. Plant your hands underneath the right shoulder on the floor or block and turn to the left hand to hip, or reach the left hand up and find your low lunge twist. We're starting to build heat in this left quad and glute now, especially by pressing down through the left heel, the front heel. And then exhale, release the left hand down. And this can be a tricky transition, but do your best to come up to the high lunge in one movement here. And inhale, take the hands up. Again, pressing through the left heel, especially drawing right heel back. And you can stay here if this is already a challenge. You can extra squeeze the right glute just to really feel that switch on. Or take the hands forward slightly so you draw a line from your right heel to your fingertips and really feel the fire in that left hip and thigh now. Draw the lower belly to the front spine to help you here, support you at your core. And then take the hands down, spin the back foot, so the sole of the foot's on the floor, toes in front of the heel. And we're going to be facing the long edge of the mat. You might want to climb your left elbow onto your left thigh at this point. Right upper arm comes up and over, and palm faces the floor, and we look to the right palm. Pressing through the little toe edge of the back foot. We're still pressing through the heel of the front foot. It's still this quad burner. And then release that hand down. On your choice, child's pose. Stretch it out in child's pose or downward dog, or inhale your way to plank or tabletop. Exhale to lower. Inhale to open. And exhale, coming back. Child's pose or downward dog. Breathing it through, feeling the heat in your buttocks, in your thighs. Bringing the energy to an area of the body that often gets quite stagnant if we do a lot of sitting, office work, driving, sitting on the sofa. This is great counterbalance. There's an optional leg lift, so if you wish, inhale, raise your right leg and bend the knee, let the foot drop over to the left. And then inhale, extend the foot up again, and exhale, bring it forward between the hands. So you can skip all of that and just find your way to right foot between the hands. And We're going to spin the back foot again as if we're going to do the side angle pose, but we're not. We're going to bring both hands to the inside of the right foot and walk out to the left until we're about half, not 90 degrees, 45. So kind of out to the corner of your mat kind of angle. And we're keeping this bend on the right leg and we're pressing through the little toe edge. And it's like a stretch for the back. It's like downward dog in the back, but we're going to really press through the right heel and feel how this is really working the right thigh and buttock here. And then we're going to walk the hands in and turn back towards the front and keep that left foot grounded, toes in front of the heel. And again, press through the feet to bring yourself up to warrior one. So hips face forward. We've got a bend on that front leg and we're going to inhale, raise the hands. So we're still working with lunges, building the heat. And you can again stay here or humble warrior, a bit like what we just did, the extra challenge. So bring your hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, look up, lifting the hands away from the back, opening the chest. And on your next exhale, bring your head to the inside of the right knee and the hands come up, maybe forward slightly, and draw the right hip underneath you so it's in line with the right ankle. Keep the bend on the knee, press through the right heel especially. And again, feel that heat. And then inhale, look up. Exhale, release the hands to the floor. You have a choice, downward dog, child's pose, or if you're flowing, if you've got the energy or you want to build the energy, then exhale, down, inhale, back bend, exhale, back. And just take a couple of breaths, 2 or 3 slow, deep breaths in downward dog or child's pose here. Every time we do this, we get this lovely stretch, freedom, creating freedom in the lower back and buttocks. If it doesn't feel free, bend your knees. A optional leg lift from downward dog. Inhale, raise the left leg and bend the knee. Just let gravity take the foot over towards the right. And then inhale to extend it up again. And exhale, step or bring that left foot through between the hands and we all meet here. And we're going to spin the back foot. So we bring the sole of the right foot to the floor with the toes in front of the heel. We keep this left knee above left ankle, and then we walk the hands over to the right. I've got space this side. Out in front of us, kind of like downward dog shape. I'm going to turn around. I've got space, and so you can see that the knee and the hip of the left leg don't move. They stay exactly where they are. And we press through the left heel, we press through the little toe edge of the right foot, and we feel the heat. Building in the left hip. And then walking the hands in, turning to the front, but keeping the same foot position. Keep that bend in the left leg, press through the left heel to inhale your way up. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1, palms touch if available. Pressing through, little toe edge of back foot, heel of front foot. And we can stay here or humble warrior, our final challenge. Take the hands behind you and interlace the fingers. And inhale, lift up knuckles to the wall behind you, looking up. Inhale into your chest. Exhale, folding forward, bringing the head to the inside of the left knee. Bringing the hands up and over, really pressing back through the little toe edge of your back foot. Bring the left hip underneath you in line with the left heel. And press through your left heel. And then inhale, just looking up, stretching the knuckles back. Exhale, release the hands down. And again, your choice. Downward dog, child's pose, or one more time, flowing through a little vinyasa, if you wish, with the breath. Meeting downward dog or child's pose, just to take a good few slow, deep breaths here. Just integrating that sequence, a strong sequence, feeling a delicious warmth in the hinge of your body, your lower back, your thighs, your hips, your buttocks. And at the end of your exhale, look forward, walk or step your feet to your hands, and this time feet hip distance apart. And we'll just take one more forward fold, just a kind of more standard forward fold. So you're welcome to just hold your opposite elbow, or Padangusthasana, hook the first two fingers underneath the toe pads and press the thumb tip to the tip of the toe. Bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, look up, and exhale, forward fold. So you can have the knees quite bent, shoulders drawing up away from the ears. And again, we're just looking to feel that stretch, obviously at the back of the legs, but also up the buttocks and into the lower back. Everything's connected. And then the hands to the hips, taking a little bend into the knees. Press yourself up to stand. And I need to change my angle. Okay, so you can see me. So we're going to do a balance, and it's a glute stretch balance, potentially, see how far we get. So I'm never quite sure what it's called. I call it the number 4 balance because it kind of looks like a number 4. So we're going to bring the right outer ankle onto the front of the left thigh with the foot flex, so the toes point down. And your shin, as you can see, is more or less parallel to the floor. So we're not bringing the heel higher and dropping the knee. That's a different posture. So my toes are pretty much touching my knee. You don't want to be pressing directly onto the kneecap though, so your ankle is above the kneecap. And we're just going to bring the hands together at the center of the chest, and we're really press the ankle into the thigh. So we're already in a balance, and you might feel interesting activations in this right hip. This is really good more for the inner hip. So we can just stay here. Check in with your knee. If you want to change this from working the front of the hip to working the glutes, then we need to bend the standing leg. So we start to bend the left knee and tip the weight forwards and kind of really actually stick your bum out behind you, which is not something I say often in yoga, but in this one, it's like you're shooting your sit bones back, almost into like a back bend. And if you're quite open, some of you might actually get to the place where your forearms find your shin, and you can stay here. So just go as far as you can. Some of you might even bring the hands to the floor and hook your toes of your right foot around your left forearm. Like, be very active with the front of the right foot. Okay, but that's only for those who are really quite open. Okay, and wherever you got to, after a few breaths, I'm wobbly this evening, slowly open out and release that foot down. You might need to shake it out. So you might have just not done the glute stretch. Stay upright for as long as you can. If there's pain in the knee, don't force it, because we're stretching the hip, but a painful knee is showing us that the hip is tight. So we've got to go at the pace that's okay with the knee. So other side, pick up the left foot. There's a weird posture this. Flex the foot so the toes point down, and press your outer left ankle into the front of your right thigh above the knee. And this already is a strange and interesting challenge, activating the inner left hip. So stay here and just work with this, really pressing back with the left ankle. Otherwise, for the glutes, start to bend the right knee, start to bring the chest down. So we're kind of folding ourselves in half, sending your sit bones out behind you, maybe making contact forearm to shin. Don't worry if you fall out. This is a really tricky balance. If you're comfortably forearm to shin, you could have a go. It's less of a tricky balance, but it's more of a interesting opener on the quad to hook the left toes around the outer right forearm. This is preparation for an arm balance, which we're not going to do. But it's an interesting extra stretch for the glutes. If you're down on the floor, come back, and then everybody, when you're ready, start to come out and take the foot down. And maybe just move the hips around a little bit, maybe shake out the ankles, whatever you need here. Challenging little balance, that one. Okay, so I would like us to come down to seated. Let's come via Malasana squat, another great opener for glutes. So take your feet about mat distance apart and toes out slightly probably, and start to bend the knees and bring the hips down towards the floor. And if you've got any issues with your knees and you need to stop halfway, just rest your forearms, elbows on your thighs, but otherwise coming all the way down, lifting up through the spine, the chest opening to the front. Nice deep breaths, feeling this as a big hip opener, lower back opener, buttocks stretching too. And then bringing the hands behind you, slowly sitting yourself down. And you want to come more towards the back of the mat, because the thing we're going to do next, we kind of travel a little bit. So we're just going to have the feet on the floor and the hands behind you to kind of prop you up. And we're going to exhale the knees over to the right, keeping the feet as wide as the mat. Inhale up through the center. Exhale the knees over to the left. So windscreen wipering, and just keep that going. Inhale center, exhale to the right. Inhale center, exhale to the left. And you notice you kind of move forward each time. So at some point you're going to need to take the feet forwards so we don't concertina ourselves too much. And just kind of keep going with the breath, like a bit of a massage for the lower back, buttocks, until we pretty much reach the front of the mat. Ideally doing both sides equally. So round about now, just completing that, and we're going to extend the left leg down the mat, and it's just the same posture we just did in the balance. We're going to flex the right foot and take that outer right ankle onto the front of the left thigh, just above the knee, and the hands behind you for support. So already you might feel there's pain in that right knee, and this is enough. You need to stay here. If there's space to go more, we bring the sole of the left foot to the floor. So now that left knee is bent. And you might start to feel more of that glute stretch on the right glute. If it's too much, take the left foot forward or the hands backwards, so unconcertina yourself. If it's not enough and you need more, then concertina yourself. So bring the foot in, bring the hands in, maybe lift the buttocks up and bring the buttocks towards the heel, so you can actually bring it all into this really compressed little shape. So some of you, if you're quite open and the knee feels okay, you might actually feel your chest almost or even touching your right shin. Or you might be much more wide and open. So you can find the place that's right for you, so that we feel it in that right hip and buttock, but the knee feels safe. If anybody's really quite open and feeling really safe here, there's one more thing you can do. If you need to come out before I say, just come out and join us on the other side. But if anyone wants to try this final thing, this is only for people who are quite concertinaed. You can bring your right elbow to the sole of the left foot. Your left hand has to be quite close towards you, and come into a twist. So you turn to the left, you're kind of pressing the right elbow into the sole of the right foot and lifting up through the spine and looking over your left shoulder, pressing down through the sole of the left foot. Just gives that extra stretch around the right buttock as well as the spinal twist. And then we come out. So don't attempt that unless you're concertinaed. Come around to the front and extend the left leg, extend the right leg. If you need to massage your knees or do anything with your legs between sides, then do. And then we've got our right leg extended, and we're going to take the outer left ankle onto the front of the right thigh. Again, make sure ankle's pressing the belly of the thigh, the front of the thigh above the right knee. Your hands are behind you for support. This could be your posture. You could stay here. This might be enough. Listen to your body. If you want to go further, bend the right knee and the sole of the right foot to the floor. And again, just find the place that's right for you. More open, more closed, maybe scooting the buttocks forward. So play around with your hand and your foot and your buttock position until you feel the sweet spot, the stretch on that outer left hip. And you're within your pain-free range of motion. No pain in the left knee. And again, this is only for those who are quite concertinaed, squidged in. If you want to try the twist, make sure your right hand is quite close to you for support. You bring your left forearm, upper arm or elbow to the left sole of the left foot, and you press and you lift up through the spine and you look over your right shoulder. If this isn't for you, come out whenever you need. Rise, 2 or 3 more breaths. And then at the end of your exhale, unwind if you took the twist. Take the right leg out, take the left leg out. Just give yourself a moment here. Okay. And then we're going to have the left leg extended and we're going to see what's possible. We're going to bring the right foot to the outside of the left knee. And you, again, check in with your knee especially. You might need to keep it high like this and just this will be your posture. But some of you might be able to then walk the right foot back so it's more towards the outside of the left hip and the knees are stacked. We're going to come forwards potentially. So my invitation is to put something underneath your left knee because it's quite a strong hamstring stretch because of the extra weight at the top leg can really overstretch the back of that left knee. So you're either here and you're just going to stay here, maybe taking the chin forward slightly, or your knees are stacked, your right foot's to the outer hip. And then you're going to see if it feels okay to take the hands forwards and just hold whatever you find. Maybe it's the calf, maybe it's the ankle, maybe it's the foot. And this posture we do with a rounded back. So wherever you get to, maybe your hands just come to the floor, either side of that left leg, you drop the head. So you kind of round the back a little bit. If you've got the foot, you might be able to even rest the chin or hook the chin over that right knee. You might find a block to support the forehead. Just do whatever feels appropriate here. If the knee is high and the right foot's on the floor, you're not going to be going forward very much. So just, if you are going forward, just again, pay attention to that left back of the left knee. It might feel very like it's been stretched a lot. So pad the back of the knee if you want. But what we're paying attention to is the big stretch that's going on in the lower back and into the outer hips. Our target area this evening. And then slowly walk the hands back. And we're going to see, for some of us, if we can come to Gormukhasana. So we now bend the left knee and bring the left foot to the outside of the right hip. You might need to sit up on a block. You might need to just lift the hip, squeeze the thighs together and come back down. And this just might not be for you at all. You might just need to keep that left foot extended and stay in whatever position you were in already. So we're just building it up, seeing what's possible. If your soles of your feet, you're going to point the toes. If the soles of the feet are available, take your palms onto your soles. If not, just have the fingertips on the floor. If you've got the left leg extended or any other variation. And you can just stay here, or again, there is a final invitation to come forward if it feels okay in your knees. So very similar to what we just did. You can walk the hands forward. And again, like a rounded back, kind of dropping the head down towards the knees. Maybe the forehead comes down, the chin comes down. Maybe for some of you, the chin hooks over that right knee. And we check that there's no pain in the knees. If there is, we come up. And again, we're feeling this big opening in the lower back and the outer hips. Whatever position we're in, this is happening. If it doesn't feel good for you folding forward, you're just going to stay upright. You're still getting the stretch. And then if you came forward, slowly come up. And just bring your hands either side of you. And we're going to come into either the fire log or a version of this shin in front of shin. So I hope you can see my whole body. I'll show you how we're going to set this up. So your left if possible, with keeping the feet flexed, and your left shin is parallel to the front of the mat. And then we're going to see if it's possible to swing the right leg in with the foot flexed as far over to the left as it will go. Eventually, in the full posture, the sole of the right foot is flush with the outer left thigh, as I'm showing here. That might not be possible for you. It might be that you can only get that right foot to your left calf. It might be that you can get it onto the left leg, but this right knee is really high, and then a block could potentially provide a support. And if it's just not at all working, if you're kind of more like here and you're like, what? It's just not working, then bring your right shin in front of your left shin, but your left shin is still parallel to the front of the mat. So it's not cross-legged, it's different. And everybody, as you look down, you should see a triangle pointing towards you, that shape, because the shins are forward. Okay, so this is the shape we want. Already we're getting that same stretch on the lower back, outer hips, and we can just stay here. But again, if there's space, if the knees feel okay, we can take the hands in front of the shins, whether we're in fire log or just shin in front of shin. This is still going to increase that stretch on the lower back and outer buttocks. And then we just see what's there for us. Maybe we can walk the hands forward a little bit more. At some point, we're going to get to our limit, where we're in our pain-free range of motion. We can breathe fully, the knees are okay. And then we drop the head and we breathe into the back body, and we check we're still anchored on the base of the pelvis. So the sit bone's still anchored down. And again, I'm just going to offer one final invitation, which is only for those who are quite far forward and feeling quite comfortable, no pain in the knees. If that's you, you can start to walk the hands over to the left. So it's a bit like what we did in the seated version. We come into this twisted version. So your right forearm, again, meets the sole of the right foot. And you kind of press. And it depends how open you are. I can't do it this side anymore because of hip issues. But some of you might find that even your elbows might be able to come down. But don't force that. You might be quite high up. Okay, so any doubts, don't attempt the twist. And then if you're twisted at the end of your next exhale, walking back round to the front, walking the hands in, and we're going to do all of that on the other side. So just ease yourself out. Again, if you need to massage your knees. So I know this, depending on our bodies, this can be a really difficult sequence. So just, again, do the modifications. So we start with the right leg extended, and we bring the left foot to the outside of the right knee, and maybe we're just going to stay here. This posture already is doing this action of stretching the outer hips and lower back, and maybe we'll be able to come forward a little bit. Otherwise, we're seeing if we can walk the left foot back to the outside of the right hip. Maybe we want to pad the back of the right knee. Knees are stacked, and we just see what's possible. We walk the hands forward. Maybe we find the ankle or the foot or the shin. Maybe we just have the hands on the floor. And we drop the head. Maybe the forehead comes down, the chin comes down. Maybe if you're quite open, the chin hooks over the left knee. If you've got the sole of the left foot on the floor and the knee high, then it's not such a rounded back feeling. You're just slightly taking the chin forwards and staying more upright, pressing through the sole of the left foot. Toes of the right foot up to the ceiling, pressing through the back of the heel. Couple more slow, deep breaths. Feeling that big opening, lower back, outer hips. And at the end of your exhale, slowly coming up. And either stay where you are, or if it's possible, lean over to the right so that you can bend the right knee and bring the right foot to the outside of the left hip. Or maybe lifting the hips, settling them back down. So we've got the knees stacked, pointing the feet. We're in Gormukhasana, cow face legs. The feet are like the cow ears. If you can, palms touch soles of the feet or fingertips on the floor. If you've got that right leg extended, just staying in previous position for a bit longer. And again, welcome to stay here. Otherwise, listen to your knees and start to take the chest forward, walking the hands forward for support. When you get to your capacity or your limit here, not blasting through your limit, check you can breathe properly and deeply, and then drop the head. Maybe some of you might make contact with that left knee. Don't force anything, otherwise your head's just kind of dropping between the upper arms in midair. One more deep breath here. And then slowly walking the hands back and coming to fire log. So we kind of have our hands for support so that we can unravel the legs, and we bring the right shin forwards with the foot flex. So the shin is parallel with the front of the mat, and we swing in the left leg from the side until potentially the sole of the left foot is flush with the outer right thigh, or wherever we can get to. Drop that left knee if that's helpful. Sit on a block if that's helpful. None of this feels good. There's pain in the knee. Choose this modification, shin in front of shin, but the right shin is forward. And if even that is too much, I should have said on the other side, you can just cross leg position and you're still getting a degree of the same stretch in the lower back and hips. But there's something about having the shins further forward that massively switches that on. And you can stay upright, or we can see if it feels okay. Check in with your knees. Just bring the hands in front of the shins, and then just take that walk forward with the hands until we find the place that feels right for us, where we can breathe fully. We can really feel that stretch in the buttocks and the lower back. And we can just explore our edge with slow, deep breaths, keeping the buttocks fully grounded on the floor, or the sit bones, the base of the pelvis fully grounded on the floor. Keeping the feet flexed if you can. And for those of you who are super comfortable here, it's not causing any pain and you're quite folded quite far forward, you can stay low and put in the final twist if you wish, walking the hands over to the right until you bring the upper arm to the sole of the left foot. If you can't find the sole of the left foot with the upper arm, then this probably isn't for you. And we just fold forward again, but over to the right now. If you've got sacroiliac issues, pain in your lower back, one side or the other of the sacrum, this might not be a good option for you. If in doubt, don't do it. And then if you're twisted, come back through to the center, and everybody just walk the hands back in and release and stretch. And we'll just do a wide leg straddle just to do the total opposite and to open out the back of the knees. So take your legs wide, toes up to the ceiling, pressing down through the back of the heels. And again, just find your edge. So it should feel quite a relief to be in a different kind of a stretch. You can stay upright, you can walk the hands forward. And again, find that place where you can breathe fully and feel the stretch, not contract. Take some nice, slow, deep breaths. Stretching the inner hips, not the outer hips now. And then walking the hands in, bringing the hands underneath the knees to bring the legs together. We're going to come down onto our backs, and we're just going to work the glutes one more time, back bend, and then we'll finish with some more focused closing stretches. So come to lie on your back and have your heels close to your buttocks with the feet parallel and your palms down by your sides. And we're just going to pulse up and down to work the glutes, and then hold maybe after 10 pulses in a bridge. So press through the feet and inhale, lift, squeezing the buttocks. Exhale, lower, but with the buttocks just hovering above the floor. And inhale, squeeze Get that extra squeeze of the buttocks. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Exhale down. Just keep going. You can count if you wish, but really we just want to go until we feel like a bit of fatigue in the buttocks. So I'm on 6 and I'm starting to feel, because I'm really squeezing at the top of the inhale, starting to feel that fatigue. So I'm going to do a couple more. Okay, and then next time you come out, if you don't feel the fatigue yet, you do a few more. Just really squeeze your buttocks for a moment. I don't usually give this cue in the back bend. And feel like you're squeezing a block between your thighs and you're pressing through your heels. So all of those things happening, squeezing the buttocks, pressing the heels down, squeezing the imaginary block. And then hold the bridge, but try to relax the buttocks. Now, this is what I usually say. We're never going to be able to totally relax the buttocks in the bridge because they're being used, but we can not overwork them, especially the upper buttocks around the sacrum. So see if you can relax the upper portion of the buttocks. You can stay here, or you can inhale, raise the hands overhead until the hands come down and the palms face up. Take another few slow, deep breaths, pressing through the heels, but trying to relax the buttocks. Nice deep breaths. And then slowly wind the spine down from the upper back to the lower back, bringing the hands down with you as you come. Hopefully feeling that heat again in the thighs and the buttocks. Walking the shoulders back, walking the feet forward. Just come to constructive rest for a moment. Feet wide, inner knees touching. And just relax. Feel the lovely after effects of the heat that we've created. Awakening, moving stuck, stagnant energy. Bringing the blood flow to this part of the body. And then we're going to hug the knees into the chest and get, it's like child's pose on our back. We get that lovely stretch into the lower back and the buttocks here. And then we're going to just have a go. This is a bit of a strange one and it might not work for all of you. We're going to cross the left thigh over the right thigh. And you might just need to drop the feet down at this point. But if possible, we keep the feet in line with the knees and we see, is it possible to find the little toe edges of the feet with the hands? You might need to curl your tailbone off the floor and bring your knees closer to do that. If you can't make that contact, don't worry. Just stay here, hugging the knees in with the left thigh on top of right. But if you've managed to find the feet, keep the feet in line with the knees and actually pull the feet away from each other with your hands, and at the same time, press the tops of your feet into your hands. And also see if you can bring the sacrum back down towards the floor. Quite a lot of information. It's like sometimes called double pigeon this. And then release. And bring the feet down to the floor. Check your alignment. And swap sides. So right thigh on top of left. And you can just let the feet drop. Take the hands forward. And hold out either your right knee or if you can your left knee. And just let this be your posture. Otherwise we lift the feet in line with the knees. We reach forward. You might need to lift the head off the floor to find that. And see if it's possible to find the little toe edges of the feet. Then we kind of pull the feet away from each other and we're active in the legs. We're pressing the tops of the feet up into the palms at the same time. Active stretching. And we're seeing if we can bring the sacrum down towards the floor. Slow, deep breaths. It's a weird one. Might not be for everybody. And then release. If you have the feet, release the feet, unwind. The thighs, just come back and just take a moment, either in constructive rest or just with the knees bent. Just going to check the time, see if we've got time. We've got time for one more. So we're going to finish with a twist. So you can just do normal knee stacked twist, but again, I've got one more slightly odd one for you. So if you want to try, this is like Garudasana legs, eagle legs twist. We lift the legs up, we cross the left thigh in front of the right thigh, and either you just bend, you just let the feet dangle, but some of you might be able to get that left foot hooked around the back of the right calf. Okay, so if you get the foot hook, great. If you don't, just don't worry. Either way, bring the right foot down to the floor, lift the hips and bring the hips over to the left, just a couple of centimeters, and then bring the knees over to the right. Arms are wide. If it doesn't feel appropriate in your back, just do the normal knees stacked twist. But otherwise, you've got that right foot hooked or not, but we're kind of wrapped a little bit in the legs. It can feel really nice for some people if to find that securing of the legs into position can create a lovely extra stretch for the legs. Nice deep breaths. Don't compromise your lower back, your knees, really checking in with the feedback from your body. And then coming back, so rolling back through the center, finding your core, and unhook the left foot, bring the left foot down and just bring the hips back to the center. And check your alignment between sides, that the pelvis, the spine, the neck and the head are in line. I'm going to lift the legs up to the ceiling and cross the right thigh on top of the left, and maybe, or is that the side we just did? Oh, I think that's right. And maybe hook the right foot behind the left calf. Either way, bring your left foot down to the floor, lift the hips slightly or slide them over to the right a couple of centimeters so that you can bring the knees over to the left now. Nice deep breath. And final stretch for the lower back and outer buttocks. Breathing down to that area of the body. Listen to your back, listen to your knees. And at the end of your exhale, draw the lower belly back to the front spine, roll back to the center, unhook your right leg, place the right foot down and scoot the hips back to the center. And we'll just finish with hugging the knees into the chest one more time and possibly lifting up the head to meet the knees if you wish. Notice my headache's totally gone. The magic of yoga. And when you feel ready, Shavasana. So just letting the legs come out in front of you, feet wider than the hips, arms away from the side, palms up. If your lower back feels at all tweaky, then put a bolster under the back of your knees. Make sure you're warm. Putting extra layers on if you need socks or use a blanket. And when you feel like you've got everything you need and you're aligned through your body, just totally let go of all effort and just notice how you feel different from the start of the class. Maybe just a sense of more alive, more energized energy, the blood flow pumping through the body, especially in the legs and the hips and the buttocks, these big muscles, maybe the back. And from having used these big muscles, perhaps it feels a bit easier to relax them, to let the muscle effort go. So really just checking in with your whole body, but especially your legs, your thighs, your buttocks. Just that these big muscles are relaxed and slipping away from the bones, just getting heavy. Allowing the body to drop into the support of the floor. Nothing to do. Rest, relax, and receive the fruits of your practice. Check your face and your jaw and relax so there's a gap between the teeth. You're not frowning or scrunching up the eyes. And just let the breath take care of itself now. And as always, if you wish to stay longer in Shavasana, please do. If you wish to close the class with me, then start to deepen your breath. And when you feel ready, bring small movements back to your body, to your fingers and your toes. And take any stretches that feel good. And we'll gradually return to seated. No rush. So those closing with me, we'll just bring our hands together, the chest, or any other position that feels right for you, and just maybe close the eyes one more time and just consciously closing this class, just harnessing the fruits, remembering perhaps your intention at the start, and just bringing the fruits of this practice away from you as we leave the mat, we enter our lives off the mat, bringing it all with us. Whenever you feel complete, just opening the eyes. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. Namaste, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Becky. That's great.